Well, it is yet another day where we look at what's happening across board in the world of business right here on Inside Business. My name is Caroline Njenga. Welcome to the program. And today we look at the fall of the local production of cereals. We have seen stakeholders in the agriculture sector say that they are fears that the local grain production is not growing as it should be. We'll be looking at that story later on this broadcast. But first, we take a look at the highlights. NIC-CBA merger, banks eyes with more outlets. KQ in train deal to shore up European passengers. A 17 million shillings market to be constructed in Homa Bay. Now, NIC Group and CBA Group now merged into NCBA Group has announced plans to open more branches in Kenya and the region as it eyes more small and medium-sized businesses. Now, according to NCBA Group Managing Director John Gashora, currently with 85 brick-and-mortar branches in Kenya, ultimately, some of the current outlets would be merged, but more will be opened to reach beyond the 17 counties in Kenya, where it will have a footprint of about 60% of banking sector's revenue come from corporate banking and treasury business, with consumer and business, SME business contributing the rest. Therefore, projections show that retail banking will offer the next big growth. So as we want to expand to counties which are becoming significant centers of wealth. Now, Kenya bulks imports on corn, wheat and rice is expected to soar as local supply of the commodities is projected to dwindle in the last quarter of 2019 and beginning of 2020 marketing season. This is according to Agriculture Chief Administrative Secretary Andrew Tuimur, who raised fears that local grain production of cereals might fall as a result of persistent cost of production as well as unfavorable climate conditions. Linda Koskei with that report.
As Kenya production deficit continues to bite, the government has embarked on enlarging irrigation scales by providing enough irrigation infrastructure as well as eradicating impending policy barriers that derail regional grain imports. Agriculture Chief Administrative Secretary Andrew Tuimur says the biggest challenge has been the cost of production of commodities, since Kenya produced about 43 million bags of maize this year against a deficit of about 45 million bags needed. According to a recent report by the United States Department of Agriculture, the country's corn production is expected to hit 3.6 million tons by mid-2020, down from 4.05 million tons harvested in 2018-2019 marketing year.
Changamoto zilizopo, kwanza kuna changamoto la tariff na zile kodi zinazotozwa ukiwa unataka kupeleka vyakula nje ama unataka kuagiza vyakula vije kutoka nchi zingine kuja humu nchini.
The decline, according to East Africa Grain Council EAGC Executive Director Gerald Masila, is a result of low morale by farmers caused by marketing crises that engulfed the maize production sector early this year. The country has been experiencing maize shortage, blamed on chaotic management of the National Cereals and Produce Board and the Strategic Food Reserve. Linda Koskei, K24 Business.
Now, the national carrier Kenya Airways has partnered with a train ticketing company, giving the airline's Europe-bound customers access to cities and towns that may not have airports but are connected by train stations. Now, Access Rail will provide connectivity in the UK to 48 train stations from London Heathrow Airport and the Netherlands to Belgium from Schiphol Airport. This is in addition to over 27 train stations in Italy from Rome Fiumicino Airport. Kenya Airways Chief Commercial Officer Ursula Sealing said KQ tickets will be used by its travelers to board connecting trains operated by Access Rail. Now, this year's theme for Nairobi International Trade Fair is use of technology and value addition to boost food security. Today, we take a look at how you can use coconut not only for its juice and cream, but also to make cosmetic products such as hair shampoo and conditioners.
Well, we are still here at the Nairobi International Trade Fair, and we're looking at the different technologies that are displayed here in terms of to boost food security. And one of the things that has been talked about really is value addition, especially for crops, keeping in mind that we are a high production country, but there's little much that is being done as far as value addition is concerned to ensure that the whole crop is used wholesomely. Now, to give us more information about this, we're here to explore how you can use coconut even to make beauty products. To give us more information, I'm now joined by Boniface Karaoke, who is an engineering technologist at K24. Thank you so much, Boniface, for having us here. Now, what are some of the ways you can use coconut? I know sometimes we just extract the milk and the coconut to just make a rice and all those other things. But how else can we use this particular crop?
Indeed, like you mentioned correctly, many people look at coconut and the white part, because the white part contains food, it contains oil that people extract. But you see, once you have harvested the coconut and removed the hard nut, there is the outer part, this particular part here, which is called the husk. This outer husk has its own use, but little known in this country. So we are looking at this as a manufacturing research chair that is headed by Professor Bernard Dikua, who is the DVC administration at K24. And as manufacturing research chair, we have found that the husk itself contains what we call the fiber, or the coconut coir, if you may. And this coconut fiber is very useful in terms of textile industry. We can actually be able to get ropes from this one, geotextile products. We can also get doormats and the like. And beyond that, our chemists have been able to extract cellulose from the coconut coir. And from the cellulose, they have broken it down chemically again to get a hydrogel. This particular product, it's been found to be able to hold water, a lot of water. So one of the uses is in agriculture, where it can be mixed with soil because of its water holding capacity, and thereby, because we have scarcity of water, which is going on and on with the global warming, that is a good product. Beyond that, it can also be used to make health products like diapers for children and sanitary towels because of its high water retention capacity. Now, while you are extracting, fiber from the husk, there is a byproduct called cocoa peat. This particular dust here, which is very much useful in plant propagation. It's a growth media. In itself, contains high nutrients, high water retention capacity, and therefore we have, found use for this. Actually, we have a student already who is working, and she has used the cocoa peat to propagate this particular plant. And in 3 weeks' time, you can see how good it looks. And this one eliminates, the use of having to use soil in greenhouses. And this particular product is being imported in big volumes by flower plants. We visited several flower farms, and they are telling us they are importing this in big volumes from India, from Indonesia, and therefore looking at us and the huge, the big population of the coconut plant we have in the coast, then we need to enhance our competitiveness with other economies so that we can produce these products.
Speaking of the cocoa peats, I'm curious to know if you were to produce it large scale, will you be able to meet the demand that flower farms need?
Yeah, actually what has been lacking is, first of all, the knowledge people have been ignorant. They don't know that the coconut husk is capable of producing another product. And therefore, as a research, we've been able to come up with machinery. And actually, if you give me a chance, I'll show you a machine that we have developed that is capable of extracting fiber, but also capable of producing the cocoa peat in big volumes. This machine can be scaled up depending on the demand that is there at a particular point. So as a research in J24, we are capable of developing the technologies that are able to get these cocoa peats that are required in this country.
Have you been able to maybe consult with manufacturers of diapers and pads on the use of the power hydrogel?
Right now, not yet. The research is underway, and the product has just now been realized a few weeks ago, and therefore that is where we are going. The one advantage of using this particular hydrogel is that it's natural, not like the synthetic ones, and therefore it will degrade after use. So this particular one has a higher advantage than the synthetic ones that we find, yes.
Maybe you can tell us about the cosmetic products, if we can have some of them to see the byproducts of coconuts in terms of cosmetic use.
So what I should mention is that the manufacturing research here that is looking at the value addition of coconut is looking at several products, and therefore is divided into several streams. And one of the streams, of course, now then is beauty and cosmetic products. From the coconut oil, we are able to base, some beauty products like the shampoo, the hair conditioner, the body lotions, and other products, including hair growth. And we have been able to identify, some SMEs at the coast. And right now, we are working with a group called Hazina Waja, a women group in Kwale, that produces, these cosmetic products. What we've done for Hazina Waja is to provide the technologies they were lacking. And they had a problem because they were using manual means of mixing, and therefore they were not able to get consistencies in their products, so the qualities were low. And it was a tedious process, so their productivity was also low. But right now, they have the machinery. We launched it with them. They are working with it, and they are happy about it. The productivity has gone high, and the quality is awesome. It's good.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Well, as you can see, there's a lot more that you can do with crops, especially coconuts, and also even from the make of hydrogels, even shampoos, and I think conditioners, things that can be used by people who love to use cosmetic products. Well, the conversation largely here has been, especially even during the official opening of this particular trade fair, is the need to use technology and also value addition in agriculture, not only to boost food security, but also to ensure that farmers and also market players across the agriculture value chain are able to maximize the profits as much as they can. So we'll be here to keep you up to date and to give you more details about the different innovations that have been showcased here at the Nairobi International Trade Fair. My name is Mercy Milanoe, and this is Inside Business.
Well, thank you so much, Mercy Milanoe, for that. That is some great innovation there. And you have not made time to go to Jamhuri grounds, make your way. The show closes on Sunday. Now, moving on to other stories, the county government of Homa Bay has partnered with the World Bank to erect an ultra-modern market at a cost of 117 million shillings. The one-floor market is set to accommodate close to 2,000 traders, whom 90% of them are fishermen. Sarah Adam with that report.
The county government of Homa Bay is setting up a modern market in a bid to promote fish trade in the area.
Once the traders are here, there will be a conducive environment to trade, and their health status will also be catered for. So that means they'll be having more opportunities to work and even to be productive.
The county government of Homa Bay, through the CEC Planning and Housing, Dr. Roslyn Odhiambo, said that the dawn of a new harbour is an early work to life in terms of trade in the vast waters of Lake Victoria.
Ultra-modern market is going to link all the three counties, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Siaya, mostly, and even Migori side. So we know that once it is completed and then the traders have their space, the fish is not going to have to go to waste.
The county estimates a boost of 60% to traders, and this will improve the trade via waters linking Homa Bay to other counties. In the recent past, fishermen along the Lake Victoria line, especially in Homa Bay, have been processing their fish in very bad conditions on an open field following the collapse of Capital Fish Processor, which stalled in the early 2000s. Sarah Adam, K24 for Inside Business.
Now, the taxman is set to go after 800 companies and their officials that exhibited wealth growth but paid nearly the same amount of tax over a period of time. According to KRA, a joint investigations will soon commence between the East African partnering countries to establish what loopholes need to be fixed, establish evidence of illicit cash flows to facilitate prosecution of tax cheats. Now, scrutiny of individuals and company data sourced from government as well as banks on motor vehicle, land and buildings acquisition, banks transactions, including quantity of imports, will help KRA zero in on culprits. Now, KRA has heightened its fight on tax evaders, where among those arrested include owners of Keroche breweries, Ms. Tida Karanja and her husband Joseph Karanja, who allegedly failed to pay 14 billion shillings in tax. Now, billionaire businessman Humphrey Kariuki was charged with withholding 40 billion shillings from the taxman. Now, rice farmers in Kirinyaga County will have to wait a little bit longer before they get a steady supply of water for their produce following delays in the construction of the 11 billion shillings Thiba Dam. The project, which is one of the biggest irrigation projects in the country, has stalled since July this year after the government failed to release funds for the project. Now, Kenya is staring at an acute shortage of rice due to lack of sufficient water at the giant irrigation scheme. Linda Koske reports.
While inspecting the projects in Kirinyaga County, Central Regional Commissioner Wilson Nyamwaga said water levels in major rivers which supply the irrigation scheme have gone down, pointing to possible low rice harvest this season. Currently, there are only 6 cubic meters of water flowing in, which cannot sustain rice farming in the 26-acre scheme. Farmers are now blaming the government for failing to fast-track the construction of Thiba Dam, which was expected to be the main supplier of water. During the much-hyped launch of the 20 billion Thiba Dam, President Uhuru Kenyatta said the project will double rice production in Mwea irrigation scheme from the current 8,000 metric tons to 16,000 metric tons to add into Kenya's food basket and export the surplus. The Mwea scheme has been reported to be the largest in East and Central Africa, which produces 80% of rice consumed in the country. Linda Koske, K24 Inside Business.
And a crop of investors is now emerging in Kenya, where investors no longer invest for profit, but invest for both profit and purpose. The group, known as B Corporation, looks at investment opportunities with the potential for good return to not only the shareholders of the company, but also to businesses that have great impact to the community and environment. Jimmy Bogo Hazlat reports.
Investment culture and opportunities in the 21st century are shifting from profit-based to ethical investments that benefit the community, customers, workers, environment, as well as embrace good governance as a new breed of entrepreneurs who are more aware of the cost of their business to the environment and society emerge.
There are businesses who do business not only for shareholder profit, so they consider all stakeholders in the benefit of their business. We do this by using our impact assessment, which is called the Benefit Impact Assessment Test. So we take these companies through this process, and it's important to say that these are for-profit companies, so these are not NGOs.
According to the Big Corporation Executive Director Nguyen Kimani, it is time for businesses to shift from profit-centered ventures and invest in purpose-driven ventures that are sustainable and tap into the broader fan base of investors who are cautious of the overall impact of their investments.
If you want to make profits that are sustainable, you need to look at a concept called shared value. So in this concept, you look at the society in which you operate in and identify the problems, then develop solutions that make sense for that society and that make money for you.
This coming just a day after the first ever green bond issue in Kenya fetched 4.3 billion shillings set to go towards construction of low-impact hostel for university students.
Look at the coastal area, we are low-lying. When the sea level rises, the Mombasa will not exist. So what we can do as companies in Kenya and in this region is to do our little steps.
Despite Kenya being among the low polluters of the environment, the impact of environment degradation and unethical businesses is still being felt by the population. Jimmy Mbogo, K24 Inside Business.
As always, as you come to a close, we take a look at the shares, how they're performing at the NSE market, and we took a look at the top gainers and also the top losers, and we see that Liberty Kenya was trading at 10.60, that is a percentage change of 9.73. EAPCC, that is the East African Portland Cement, was at 18.50. That is positive 5.71. East African Cable was trading, the market share price was 3 shillings, and that is a percentage change of 3.81. Now to the top losers, we look at some of the companies that have not been working well when it comes to in the better part of the morning, and we'll see that Everready was market share price was 1 shilling, that is negative 9.01. CIC Insurance was 3 shillings and 6 cents, and that is a negative 7.55. And Uchumi was trading at 28 cents, and that is a negative 3.45. Now we look at the Forex and see how the foreign exchange has been for the better part of the morning, and we come back to the touch again. And we see how it's been trading, how the shilling and also the other currencies that have been trading for the better part of the morning. And we'll see how the US dollar has been performing, and you see the buying at 103.71, selling at 103.91. The sterling pound at 128.26, that is buying, and selling at 128.54. Now we go to the euro, which has been trading against the Kenyan currency at 103.58, and that is buying, and selling at 103.82, that is selling. Now we go to the next one, which is the Tanzanian shilling, which has been buying at 22.06 and selling at 22.20. Now the Ugandan shilling, which is the last one, has been buying the Kenyan shilling at 35.35 and selling at 35.52. Well, that is how we finish up this Inside Business for today. Join Sarah Adams on Monday, and she updates you on what will be happening throughout the week. Have a great afternoon and also a great weekend. My name is Caroline Njenga.